to our beloved participants that join our event from Zoom. Can you hear us clearly? From Zoom? Or
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Salama olingunalatai salam suju karendeng malempang paham mangat oka hanjak ate mari magawi Cetaru sihaga sangat muda, tumbuh batang si bularo. Kabe ampun kabalian Tuhan, sadaya kami lagi biasa bayo.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to extend our warmest greetings to our eminent guests and speakers. Satyawachana Christian University Rector, who on these occasions is represented by Deputy Rector Joseph Ernest Mambu, SPD, MA, PhD, Satyawachana Christian University's Faculty of Interdisciplinary Dean, Dr. Titi Sulistyawati Prabawa, SPDMA, Professor from the French National Museum of Natural History, Professor Dr. Van Koy Sema, Director of Institute Francais d'Indonésie, Dr. Stefan Dovert, authors of Sangiran Today, A New Experience, C. Nathalie Sukmi Esos M. Icon, Mr. Konradin Piet, Mrs. Anna Mary Sema, delegates from Sangiran Conservation Office, Sragen Regency Government, and Pok Darwis Wonderful Sangiran, Human Origins Heritage participants, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm greetings to each and every one of you. Welcome to Satyawacana Christian University's main hall for the publication launching and poster exhibitions of the intensive academic program called Human Origins Heritage. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Petra Alexandru, and I am going to be the MC for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, Satyawacana Christian University is known as the miniature of Indonesia because the academic community comes from the ethnic groups and regions in all over Indonesia. As a start of this event, we were welcomed by the beauty of Pesanteka Gemal Lenggang Galang dance. This dance is a form of bracelet dance creation originating from Belian or Wadian, which is believed by the Dayak community Central Borneo to be able to cure physical alignments or non-physical alignments. However, nowadays, bracelets are not only used in healing rituals, but also as a dance to welcome guests and express joy. This dance is performed by 3 female dancers while playing bracelets. The sounds of jiggling bracelets is like prayer, praise, and expressions of gratitude and joy for God's endless blessing. The generations of traditional culture from the Dayak tribe in the central Borneo dance with joy. They love, proud, and respect the heritage of cultural custom and tradition as a treasure belonging to their home, the Dayak land of central Borneo. Now, we move on to the speech segment that will be started with a welcoming speech from Satyawacana Christian University Rector, represented by Deputy Rector Joseph Ernest Mamu, SPD MA, PhD. Let's give a round of applause.
Good afternoon or good morning in France. It's a great opportunity for me, on behalf of the Universitas Kristen Satyawacana's management, to welcome you all. I'm glad to be here again to welcome you all in an on-site place, and we can deliver our meeting today in a hybrid mode. And I would like to thank many parties, especially the BTSI, for making this event also possible. Bu Titi yang terhormat, Pak Ulo as the Vice Dean, Professor Francois Semah, I hope you can listen, you can hear me clearly from France. And then some other honorable and distinguished guests, Stefane Dovert, from Director Institute Francois d'Indonésie, Busih Natalia, we had an earlier conversation earlier today, and then students participants from Chile, Pamela Gutierrez, Kosal Ngov, Cambodia, Bohdan Mamkur from Ukraine, Theresia Lukita Oktarisa from Indonesia, Canela Fala from France. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Universitas Kristen Satyawacana. As mentioned earlier by the Master of Ceremony, we are the miniature of Indonesia, and I think there has been a lot of joy going to Indonesia and exploring Indonesia. And I believe that the cooperation between MNHN, Museum Nasional de Historia Natural, and UKSW will be more fruitful in years to come. And I have to say apology because the rector, Pak Neil, is currently attending a meeting with the Board of Trustees. So his warm regards to you all, and including to the participants in France, for Professor Francois as well. Of course, I will probably be able to talk more about how this program between MNHN in cooperation with Sangiran and UKSW can continue on our cooperation. But I just want to, in this welcoming remark, to reflect upon one of my earlier moments where I was taught by my former professor when I completed my master's in applied linguistics almost 2 decades ago. Professor Roland Sussex at that time introduced me to the notion of meme, M-E-M-E, that's how we spell it. And we know meme as something which is posted and goes viral on Facebook because things are ridiculous and we want to make fun of it. But as I try to recall that notion, actually meme, if I Google it, it means an element of a culture or system of behavior that may be considered to be passed from one individual to another, from one culture to another, if I may extend this definition. It may be passed from one generation to generation by non-genetic means, for example, through imitation. Like when we enjoyed the dance performance, I believe that the dancers learn it by imitation from other people or other experts. And when it comes to learning about culture, we learn it from our previous generation as well. And how does meme here have anything to do with our event today? Yeah, well, to understand what happened in the prehistoric era is not easy. But I think one of the noble goals of excavating or exploring the prehistoric moment is that we try to understand what has been passed down from generation to generation, what remains original, what remains important that has constituted us as part of humanity. And I hope that the conversation is ongoing to understand the core or the essence of our humanity. And by having dialogues among scholars, between teachers and students, or in our mission, Magistrorum et Scholarium, the unity between teachers and students, scholars and students, to explore how cultures, ever since the prehistoric moment, has been passed down from generation to generation. Of course, we have more to say about that, but we will continue on discussing that later. Today is the publication launching and poster exhibition, and I had the opportunity to enjoy the posters, and I definitely have some more comments on that. But yeah, what happens today is actually a translation of this. The event, Sangiran Today, a new experience, has culminated in today's event, and we want to celebrate that. And during the pandemic in the past 2 years, we have not been able to meet on site like this. So I'm really glad in today's event we can meet, even though some of us are outside of Indonesia, but many of us from the Faculty of Social Sciences and Communications and Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, and also I'm part of the University Management, can be attending the event and celebrate the achievements. This is a moment of celebration as well. So International Master in Quaternary and Prehistory International Credit Mobility Program is a rewarding experience, and I hope everyone will not only enjoy this, but also take benefits from our program today. I think that's all as a start, and once again, Thanks for your participation, and I'm sorry if there are things that are not appropriate during my remarks, and I believe that the Lord can also bless our meeting. Thank you, and have a good one.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for the welcome speech. Next, I would like to invite Satya Wacana Christian University Faculty of Interdisciplinaries Dean, Dr. Titi Sulistiawati Prabawa, SPD MA, to deliver her speech.
Good afternoon and good morning for those who attend from France. Professor Francois Zema, Deputy Director for Cooperation and Internationalization, Dr. Joseph Mambu, dear guests, lecturers and colleagues, and participants of Human Origin Heritage. On behalf of the Center for Sustainable Development Studies at UKSW, I would like to welcome you all to the opening of Human Origin Heritage Volume 5, with the intention to expand awareness about the importance of dissemination, management, conservation of the World Heritage Sites. MNHN in Paris, in collaboration with Center for Sustainable Development Studies of Interdisciplinary Faculty at UKSW, with the help of Alliance Sorbonne University in Paris, has conducted yearly intensive international school for master students entitled Human Origin Heritage since 2018. I'm glad to share that we managed to run the International Participatory Training School until now, despite the pandemic. Publication, launching, and poster exhibition that we are conducting at the moment show the 5-year journey of the Human Origin Heritage programs. Even though we have faced challenges because since 2020, we cannot host international students in Indonesia, we still hope that in the future, we will be able to run the program as it used to be. During the Human Origin Heritage program, students will be exposed to different perspectives and also approaches from both national and international scholars on how they examine heritage. Apart from the scientific perspective, there will be an opportunity for the students to listen to aspirations, experiences, and challenges of community living at archaeological sites. Apart from that, students will also have the opportunity to work with others who come from different disciplines and different countries, even though now we can only do the discussion virtually. However, we ensure that the quality of the program is still well maintained. I really hope that you will enjoy and really take the chance seriously. In the global world with its complex problems, it is very possible that you will need to expand your interdisciplinary and international networks or encounter a working situation in which you need to work in a multicultural and multidiscipline setting. I believe that the opportunity to join Human Origin Heritage Program will help you figure out how to deal with this possible situation in your future career. Without further ado, I would like to congratulate all participants who have been selected to join the program. I hope you will have a good time and find the program useful. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to Ms. Titi. Thank you very much, Ms. Siti, for the speech. International Participatory Training in the Human Origins Heritage Program use a participatory approach that involves students and also local community members. During the program, they discuss issues of preservations of archaeology, prehistory, and cultural heritage to uncover the complexities of conservation issues and build awareness to the broad public about the value of archaeological sites as a cultural resources. As the result of the program, we will now enter the launching segment of the volume Sangirang Today, A New Experience. Without further ado, let us listen to Satya Christian University's Deputy Rector, and we would like to hear from Khoi Selma first for giving a speech. You may give a speech, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good morning for those who are in Europe, and good afternoon in Salatiga, of course. First of all, I would like to warmly thank the kind words from Joseph and from Butiti related to the challenges of our collaboration. And of course, I would like to warmly thank also the BTSC for organizing this session. I regret so much not to be with you in Salatiga today, but we can see each other on the screen. And I would like to extend my thanks also to the dynamic actors of the very nice exhibition you can see in the outside the building, and I hope you will be able to see photographs for those who cannot go to Salatiga, and which was mostly set up by Ibu Natalia, who's online today, Mas Ami, that we've just seen in the room, and Mas Lilik also for all their involvement in setting the exhibition. Okay, today, as Butiti just said, we open also, beside launching the book, we open the 5th edition of the Human Origins Heritage Program. So maybe my very short talk should be intended to the selected students. As far as I remember, there are 11 from UKSW and the same number from the International Master in Quaternary and Prehistory from Portugal, Spain, Italy, and France. As said in the title of the school, we deal with heritage. We do not deal only with prehistoric research. I am a researcher in prehistory. And as researchers in prehistory, we are very used with multidisciplinarity and even interdisciplinarity. But of course, we are here interested in heritage. We are not only interested by our fundamental research, which is creating new knowledge from that heritage. So when we deal with heritage, words like conservation and protection represent the biggest stake, the biggest challenges we have to face. And those challenges are quite acute for our generation and for the next generation. Why? Because this heritage, in fact, has to be conserved, has to be protected in an ever-changing environment. ever-changing environment from numerous dimensions. The first dimension, all of us know, is what can endanger our heritage when we look at the global change, when we look at the changes in natural landscapes. But the changes are not restricted to the natural environment. They are also affecting all the social developments, and especially in an emerging country like Indonesia. So when we face, as researchers, as lecturers, as students, or as citizens, when we face such challenges, the researcher in prehistory cannot improvise and cannot become, in a second, a specialist in heritage management. And we need to set up interdisciplinary and intersectoral collaboration together with economists, together with specialists of tourism, together with other specialists in social sciences, just for instance, communication. And this is the core of the collaboration we launched together with UKSW. It is not an easy collaboration. We can see it from a very positive point of view, and Payosef and Boutiti just reminded some results we reached, but it is a hard work, all the more hard that when we speak about prehistoric heritage, it is very difficult, and it is impossible, in fact, for the society to discriminate cultural heritage from the past, natural heritage from the past and from the extant period, and what I should call living heritage. We just watched a wonderful cultural performance from Borneo, and this is part of the heritage. And in the heart of the society, heritage is considered as a whole. So we have tangible heritage and we have living heritage. I hate the word of immaterial heritage, in fact. So the researchers in prehistory cannot improvise. They have to rely on other specialists, and this is, once again, the core of the collaboration that we develop together with UKSW. Just to remind you about a couple of words just expressed by Ibutiti 5 minutes ago, it is important for the researchers, it is important for the heritage professionals, but it is also and even more important for the students. And you students, would you come from prehistory? Would you come from tourism or from communication or development studies? You will meet such complex conservation and developmental issues in your future career. So let's begin since the earliest steps, since you are involved in a master program. And this is the very objective of the Human Origins Heritage Program. The last aspect I would like to mention is that of the participatory approach. And of course, when you deal with conservation of heritage within a society, you cannot exclude the society. And this is a social responsibility of the higher educational institutions, like our own in France, Muséum National d'Histoire Naturelle, and like UKSW. And this is written in the basic vision of UKSW, if we look at the founding texts also. So the participatory approach, together with the members of the communities, is of the utmost importance. And I would like today to express my most sincere thanks, and on behalf of all the members of the ASHOASH program, to the members of the local communities in Sangiran who took part actively to excavations, to exhibitions, or to other heritage-related projects, such as the beautiful batik project launched by Bu Natalia that you can see in the exhibition, for their collaboration, and especially for the members of the Pogdawis Wonderful Sangiran, who are, I suppose, present today in Salatiga, like Pak Subur, Mas Karyadi, Mas Iwan, Bu Rosita, dan lain sebagainya. Terima kasih banyak atas kehadiran mereka. So just to conclude, thanks again for all the actors of this wonderful day. I apologize not to be with you today, but hopefully we can meet soon in Salatiga and in person. And I wish you a good day, and for the students, a wonderful Human Origins Heritage project. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the speech. And now we will ask Deputy Rector of Satyawacana Christian University, Mr. Joseph, who will present us a concert thriving 5 years of international collaborations between Satyawacana Christian University and the French National Museum and Natural History. Please give a round of applause.
Baik, terima kasih. Once again, thank you for the opportunity. Now, as the Deputy Director for Institutional Relations and Internationalization, I'd like to give further comments on the human origins heritage, and especially we have had this cooperation for over 3 years. Yeah. We're glad to be able to cooperate with MNHN, Sorbonne Paris, yeah, then especially with the important role of Professor Francois to set the tone for the cooperation. And yeah, in the past few years, we have witnessed that UKSW and MNHN have intensively actualized or implemented different activities together, like students' mobility, staff mobility, and also leaders' mobility. And we also conduct international classes together. And we are currently trying to initiate a double degree at the master's or graduate level. So those are the activities that we have done in the past few years, and we are planning to open or establish. But I think if we talk about what's next that we can do together, I think this is the important agenda that human origin heritage, MNHN and UKSW can do. As I prepare for this wonderful event, apart from the meme thing that I reflected upon earlier during my welcoming remark, I also remember that heritage is actually part of Sustainable Development Goals, and UKSW, Universitas Kristen Satyawacana, is committed to actualizing or achieving Sustainable Development Goals. And if I try to find which of the 17 SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals which is highly relevant to humans' origins heritage, it's the 11th goal, which is sustainable cities and communities. And there are target and indicators of how the SDG number 11, or sustainable cities and communities, have been achieved. But in general, the overview of sustainable cities and communities is that the United Nations and many civil society institutions, including Satyawacana and MNHN, we need to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. But that's still a very broad overview of sustainable cities and communities. So I try to find more specific target and indicators of how sustainable cities and communities, which is related to humans' origin heritage, I believe, are relevant. Yeah. So I try to find the target, and one of the target of sustainable development goals, especially when it comes to sustainable cities and communities, is that strengthen efforts. Yeah, this is target number 4. I select one of the targets. Number 1, adequate, safe, and affordable housing, upgrade slums, blah, blah, blah. And then number 4, strengthen efforts to protect and safeguard the world's cultural and natural heritage. That's it. So that's one of the key targets that UKSW and MNHN should strive for. Strengthening efforts to protect and safeguard the world's cultural and natural heritage. If we devote our attention to Sangiran, that's probably just one of other possible cooperation initiatives that we can think about in years to come. And apart from the targets, if I try to find the information from the website, I click also on the indicator. Target number 4, strengthening efforts to protect and safeguard the world's cultural and natural heritage. And what is the indicator if the target has been achieved? The indicator is interesting. Total per capita expenditure on the preservation, protection, and conservation of all cultural and natural heritage by source of funding, like public or private, type of heritage, cultural or natural, and level of government at national, regional, and local or municipal level. Yeah, that's the indicator. Well, I do not want to go too much details on that, but that's something that we can think about. FID, FISCOM, and MNHN. Yeah, but interestingly, if I check the progress report, yeah, issued last April 30th, 2021, the report was prepared by the Secretary General of the United Nations. Interestingly, there is no mention of heritage at all in the progress towards the SDGs. So on the one hand, the United Nations has mentioned some of the targets indicators of the achievement of how sustainable cities and communities, including natural and cultural heritage, has been achieved, but there is no mention at all on heritage in the report. So that's an agenda that UKSW and MNHF need to push together. And I'm glad, as I watched the poster exhibition briefly, one of my colleagues, Bu Natalia Sih, has done research on sustainability as well. And the topic that she mentioned here, I think this one, when Indonesia's prehistoric heritage is facing a sustainable challenge, how to solve it? Of course, we can have more fruitful discussion about how Bu Natalia aims to contribute to a sustainable conservation and development plan of prehistoric heritage, particularly fostering the local community's involvement. Once again, UKSW is committed to achieving sustainable development goals, and we are responsible to make our cities and communities, local communities, heritage places or sites more sustainable. So I think with that remarks, I believe that UKSW and MNHN, through Humans Origins Heritage, can continue on the conversation here. Although SDGs are to be achieved by 2030, but I don't think it will stop there. I believe UKSW and MNHN can continue on the dialogue about how to make local heritage more sustainable in years to come. I think from the side of cooperation, we can continue on this. And I believe that the other speakers who are going to contribute in today's event will provide more insights into this human origins heritage, including from the perspective of sustainable development goals. With that, I hope that this event, once again, will be rewarding to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for giving us the speech. And now let us listen to a publications in the framework of 45 years Indonesian-French collaborations in prehistoric from Director of Institut Français d'Indonésie, Dr. Stefan Dovert.
Today is a great day. Today is a day of a book launching. A book launching is always a very important moment. But this book is special. This book is not the very first one on Sangiran, but it shows that evolution is not only evolution in terms of humankind, and we will get back to it, but it's also a matter of evolution of science. And I think that is a new step in this very rich cooperation history. It has started long ago with Eugène Dubois in 1889, and it was not at this time a French-Indonesian cooperation, but very soon after, I mean in the second half of the 20th century, when research were more structured in Indonesia, we had a long story of French-Indonesian cooperation. It has all started with Henri de Lumley, I think, that has paid a couple of visits in Indonesia. I had the chance being introduced by François, who was then one of his professors. Henri de Lumley was then one of the professors of François, if I remember well, and it was more than 30 years ago, and I remember this very moment when I met Professor de Lumley. And then the stories went on with Hassan Ambari, who was then the head of Puslit Arkenas in Indonesia, and he was very proactive in helping the project and the researchers, with then plenty of young Indonesian talents, researchers like Tony Dubiantodo, who then replaced Hassan Ambari later, of course. And this is a long story of this very fruitful cooperation between France and Indonesia, between French researchers, Indonesian researchers, and much more. Plenty of international team. François Sema was very instrumental, my very good friend François and Anne-Marie, they were very instrumental in this cooperation, but so many young researchers have been committed. A new generation is coming right now, a new generation of researchers, and this book launching is a proof, it's a testimony of this new generation of researchers coming, PhD candidates as well. Of course, Sangiran is crucial, it's a crucial moment in evolution, in the history of evolution of mankind. Pithecanthropus, our ancestors, when Eugène Dubois, as a pioneer, tend to prove it, he was very in the limbo, he was very much contested in his approach. Plenty of people argue that it was not true, and now we have to praise his intelligence to have found out at a time where it was difficult that, yes, Pithecanthropus erectus in Indonesia were important. And now we know that they were important, and we have more and more proof, more and more studies, more and more clever, intelligent young researchers, more and more researchers committed, because it's crucial not only for France, not only for Indonesia, of course. It's in Indonesia, but it's crucial for humankind, it's crucial for humanity, it's crucial for our planet to know where we are coming from. I wish you a very fruitful launching event. I am so sad not to be in Salatiga today. I will soon visit you, I hope to, and I want to see the side, Sangiran, and the other side of your research, of your excavation, of your work. I thank you very much.
Let's give a round of applause. And thank you, sir, for the insight. And ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the next segment, and all the presentations and discussions will now be moderated by our moderator. He is a lecturer at Satya Wacana Christian University Faculty of Interdisciplinary, who is interested in geoarchaeology, evolutions, and conservations. Please welcome Mr. Muhammad Mirza Ansore.
Thank you very much, Petra. So when I read this book, I lost count on how many people participate in writing this book. So now we are going to hear directly from the editorial team of this book, and to tell how the reason and how the book was compiled together. So there are so many writers in this book, and it has to be very difficult to compile many minds into a single book. So we will hear directly from Ibu Anna Marisema, Natalia Sukmi, and Korontong Bians. So we invite the three of the editorial team into the stage, Zoom stage.
Yes, good morning and selamat siang semuanya, everybody. I try to share my screen. Do you see?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes. You can see, yes, okay. Thank you very much, and terima kasih. I just begin after my two colleagues talk. Yes, the HAWA program, as you know, is a multidisciplinary program giving the opportunity to students from diverse formations and European ASEAN countries to work together and exchanging experiences. After acquiring theoretical data via online courses, they develop investigation on the Saniran site. Many topics are proposed, and groups of students go to the field where they have to exchange with the local inhabitants in collaboration with Togdawis and Yegechi. At the end, they have to produce an illustrated scientific, approximately scientific report, helped by supervisors. Considering the interest of these reports, representing a new and original exercise, we decide to include this data in a book with the evident title, Saniran Today, A New Experience. Of course, we are supported by many institutions. And we dedicated this work to Pa Martin, a leader of the AHOA program and a Miss teacher and friend. Thank you, Pa Martin.
Thank you very
Next
much.
one.
And
So, you hear me?
yes, Korontong.
Okay, thank you. So during the HOH, the groups of students, you can pass the slide. Booth.
Oh, yes, of course.
Have nice pictures. So during the HOH, the groups of students and locals have dealt with a great variety of topics. These topics have to do with several aspects of the life in Sangam, such as local myth, natural heritage, history in Sangam, cultural landscapes and heritage, and so on. And they applied many scientific approaches.
Before Corentin.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, tu veux passer?
Okay, Ibu Natalia, would you?
No,
No, it's
Okay, so in 2018 and 2019, the groups conducted many experiences on the field, and from their very rich exchanges together, they built very interesting discourse about science. What struck us from the beginning, you can pass, from the beginning was the interest and yet unexplored aspects of what the students were achieving. Yes, tu peux passer book. From this constatation, it was soon decided that we needed to make this data accessible to the next students and researchers interested in similar types of topics. So we decided to publish it in a book for this matter. Thank you.
Okay, now this is my part. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone in everywhere. First of all, thank you so much to all of the sponsors for this book and this program, for all participants that support publishing this book, and of course, the committee that has worked a lot to realize our program today. Like the book title, Sangiran Today, A New Experience 2018 and 2019. Actually, this is also my new experience becoming an editor for the book as a yield of collaboration of international institution and transdisciplinary background. So this is such an honor for me, for myself, to work with Ibu Anne-Marie Sema and Korontong and supervised by Professor François Sema. I appreciate, witness, and learn a great dedication to embody this book. I do cultivate and reflect on reconstructing knowledge in terms of interdisciplinary trajectory. Please put the slide. Yes. In our process, I remember we worked during a pandemic, and it challenged us a lot to coordinate detailed by detailed, substantively and technically for preparing the contents of the books. And during everyone adapt to the vulnerable pandemic condition, I thank to all colleagues and writers that contributed their great idea and writings. And actually, it's not. Actually, this is not too difficult for me because I deal with the professionals and experts in this field. Even in their busy time, they were pleased to express their talk on this book. They're also really open and helpful to fulfill our request. Yeah, even sometimes I remind and force a lot. I apologize for that, but they are really, really, really cooperative. Next slide, please. Yes, next. In this moment, I would like to thank Museum National d'Histoire Naturelle and Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana to authorize the copyright of the books and also for providing the sites to download our online book. Our reasons is that we want to reach wider readers around the world. It's because the fact that in 2018 and 2019, our participants came from 10 different countries and 10 varieties of the disciplines, include quaternary and prehistoire, archaeology, information technology, agricultural studies, communication studies, chemistry, biology, development studies, and sociology of religions. And every year, we have more and more diverse countries and disciplines. So we think that it will be better and more useful if we can share our experience with everyone. So everybody, again, you can read and download the Human Origins Heritage book on our website. hoh.upsb.edu. You can also read our virtual poster on that site. So voila, please enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the team editorial.
No, I am not finished.
Still, yes.
Sorry.
Still
Just one again. After the compilation of all the text and illustration, Natalia, Corentin, and me tested so many way conception and design. Very huge brainstorming, I remember, and we finished just on time before the budget deadline. In fact, 400 exemplars were edited for all the participants. You can see on the slide, all the participants, and of course, concerned colleagues and institutions. For many Indonesian participants, sorry, be patient, sabar. We bring books as soon as possible. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much for the team editor. So we encourage you, all the participants here who attend this the ceremony, to download the book and to read it by yourself. And next segment, which is still together with this segment, we will invite some of the students to give a short testimony. So we have several students already. The first is Pamela Gutierrez from Chile. We welcome you to the Zoom to give a very short, if possible, a testimony about the experience of participating in HOH program.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Pamela Gutierrez. I've got a master's degree from the MNHN of Paris, and I had the luck to participate in the HOH project in 2018. So the orientation of my team was focused on the perception of human evolution in Sangiran. For this, we first tried to identify some key factors that could help us unravel this problematic, and conservation, heritage, and dissemination were the concepts that guided our approach. For me, an essential part of the experience was the possibility to team up with locals, and especially with the members of POC Darwis and YDC. In addition, our team was interdisciplinary, and the different backgrounds that we had, biology, tourism, communication, archaeology, of course, contributed to enrich our understanding on what we observed. So with the help of our supervisors, we identified some strategic activities that could help us. We first participated in analytical visits of local museums, where we interviewed some guides, souvenir sellers, and visitors. We were particularly interested in how human evolution was displayed, and how religion and human evolution were interacting in the Sangiran heritage context. We also visited people linked to the history of Sangiran and its archaeological heritage. And then with them, we discussed a wide range of heritage-like topics. And finally, we explore dissemination resources by working with high school students. And for this, we work on 3D scanning and identification of different hominid fossils, skulls. And we participate in a cast fossil workshop and also organize a comparative anatomy workshop. So all of this experience allowed us to better understand how different parts of the community influenced the perception of human evolution in a key archaeological site context, and also how the scientific knowledge was being delivered. So this for the working part, but not everything was work. So I would like to highlight that I especially cherish the souvenir of late ginger teas and the delicious meals that we were giving every day. We also had the chance to discover other parts of the local patrimony when visiting Jakarta. The Borobudur temple was my favorite, my personal favorite. And this it's important because this final trip contributed to have a better insight on the multiculturalism and the richness of the region. So thank you again. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Pamela. And we shall continue with Kosal Ingov from Cambodia, please.
Good afternoon and good
Kosal.
evening for the friend teacher. My name is Ngô Kosal from Cambodia. Nowadays, I'm working as an assistant professor in the Faculty of Archaeology in the major of prehistory. I'm also an ancient student who has participated in the Human Original Heritage Program in 2019. And also I will be in France for continue my master on quaternary and prehistory in museum this year. In the program of EduEd, I has got a lot of experience about prehistory study. In the study in prehistory and join the program that open to the student in the prehistory, biology, communication, history, anthropology, and development study, Asian study, etc. The participating authority and institution from Indonesia, France, and international mentioned it on the provider page. I has got more experience for the object to strengthen my general knowledge in particular in the domain of prehistory. In order to contribute to imagine of community and scientific network is the humanity in Cambodia and Southeast Asia. At the time during my participative, we worked as a team to study and discuss the topic we had chosen. During that time, my teammate chose the topic, the place of science in Sangirang society. We held almost a week to go for an internship in Sangirang. There we spent some time research our subject and visit some museum in the area, and we work with the local people over there. And all the potential aspect of the property such as human and animal fossil, as well as artifacts are found in the natural context within the boundary of the nominated area as a normal with discovery from open site, and the evidence is rarely found intact due to erosion and transportation process. One has to know that this natural agent have been for long the most efficient actor in the excavating in Sangirang. Excavating Sangirang early human site. Depend on the actor of the value of Sangirang is not the same from the researcher point of view. It is a site that brings a mature knowledge on the human emission, which is worldwide famous Homo erectus remain the creation and infrastructure of the research had an impact of Sangirang, and it have become that is perceived mixed way. Some local don't understand the implication of the government, but others can see an opportunity to share their knowledge about the fossil investigation by the work directly with the scientists. As a result, on the local people point of view, the scientific aspect Sangirang can be a beneficial sign is given in important and notoriety to the region. In my own idea, this training program for the senior and junior student is exploring the prehistoric subject, more specifically the Indonesian prehistory. The results show that by implementing a visit as an effective history learning to the Sangirang site. And the last point I would like to say, it's congratulations, and I'm very interested for the book Sangirang today is a new experience, because I'm also got a lot of experience from the Sangirang. And I would like to say congratulations about the publication and the poster exhibition. And I wish all of you have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kosa. I understand that all the students would like to share a lot of experience. There are so many experience we got from the HOH program, and we're still continuing the student testimony, but we hope for the next, we try as short as possible, even though we know there are so many things to share. So the next will be Bohdan Mamshur from Ukraine. We welcome you for the testimony.
Hello, it's Corentin. Bohdan and Kanel can finally not reach the meeting now, so we can move on to the next one, maybe. Teresia Lukita Oktarisa.
Thank you very much for the news, Corentin. So, where is Indonesian student? Yes, apparently we have one Indonesian student who apparently here with us. Teresia Lukita Oktarisa, can you come to stage, please? So she is currently doing his master degree in Italy, and she's with us now for her vacation, no? Oh no, okay, so it's kind of vacation. So he will share her testimony with us. Please.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'm Teresia, I'm Indonesian student from International Master in Quaternary and Prehistory 2021. I also graduated from here, UKSW, from Tourism Destination Program back to 2020. It's so nice to see you all. It's so nice to be home. I want to share my experience when I joined HOH program back to 2019. It was a tremendous chance for me that I've got to meet the students from foreign countries, and not only students, I also met the experts and also the professors from around, not around Europe, but mostly Europe, and it was such an honor for me to join HOH program. And because Mas Amit said that it should be brief, so I was just saying that our project in HOH that time was to conduct social experiments in Sangiran Heritage Site about people's perception towards the museum and the heritage site in general. We conducted some interviews with the local people and the tourists in Sangiran Heritage Site and the museums with the help from the youth and local community of the site. At the end of our project was presented on a conference, and our writing is now available in the publication of the book Sangiran Today, A New Experience 2018-2019. I feel so lucky that I joined this program, which is from there I got the notions to continue to write on an article in the National Journal, and further, HOH program also exposed me to the International Master of Quaternary and Prehistory, where I am studying now. I guess that's all from me. I hope you're all enjoying this day, enjoying the exhibitions, and congratulations for the book. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we call Chanel Fala from France to give your testimony, please.
She also couldn't join, sorry, Mas.
Okay, so it's fine. So we have already listened to all the testimony of the student. We hope that it motivates other students to join the next program of our collaboration, maybe next year ahead. So now we are moving on to the next segment, which is the sharing segment, and we invite the representation from the Sangiran Conservation Office, Marlia, Ibu Marlia, lalu Pak Dodi, and Pak Mujib. And we also invite Anjarwati from Sragen Regency Government to join us in the stage, and also the group of Pok Darwis Wonderful Sangiran, Bapak Sadiman Subur, Bapak Dwi, dan Ibu Reida. Please, we invite you to the stage. For the committee, can we ask for one additional chair for our guests? Okay, sharing is caring. So first, I would like to explore, so we would like to explore the stakeholders, the multiple stakeholders that involves in the management of the heritage site as big as Sangiran. So we invite many representatives, including from the local communities and from the government and from the Balai Conservation Office of Sangiran. So first, I would like to ask the BPSMP Sangiran, maybe one of the representatives to tell us, to share to us what is the role of BPSMP Sangiran in terms of the management of the site. For this, maybe Pak Dodi can give a short introduction about what is BPSMP.
Thank you very much, Mas Ami. Sorry, I opened my mic. Okay. The first, I need to apologize. Maybe my English is not not fluent, right? We call in Indonesia, Balai Pelestarian Situs Manusia Purba Sangiran, in English is Sangiran Early Man Site Conservation Office. In our structure organization. We belong of Ministry of Education, Cultural, Research, and Technology. And below the ministry, we have a cultural, general, cultural, director general. And below then, we have the Sangiran Early Man Sites Conservation Office. In Sangiran Conservation Office, we have the director as a head office, and we have the administrator, and there are about 50 staff there. And we check in every day, we do conservation the sites, such as we did utilization, we develop, and we protection the sites. Because the Sangiran is a very large site, it's about 59 kilometer acre, and the cultural heritage was buried in a land. And this is very important. Government built a Sangiran conservation office there to protect the cultural heritage. It's very high value, and in 1996 we take UNESCO be a cultural world heritage. Maybe it's this. Mas.
Thank you very much for the brief introduction about BPSMP Sangiran to Pak Dodi. Maybe next thing to address how the BPSMP Sangiran could get along with the program of HOH for over 5 years, because BPSMP Sangiran always involved with the HOH program. Maybe Ibu Marlia can give some words.
Thank you, Mas Sami, for the question. Good afternoon, everyone in this room, and good morning in France. First of all, I want to express my appreciation to HOH, Human Origin Heritage Committee, especially to the rector and then the Dean of Interdisciplinary Faculty, Bapak François Sema, Ibu Anne-Marie, and of course, Mas Ami. Thank you for having us here. And okay, answering Mas Ami's questions about how Sangiran Conservation Office and HOH work together to conserve the Sangiran site. So as Pak Dodi stated about Sangiran Conservation Office role in Sangiran site conservation, HOH are really taking part. So we thank you, and we appreciate it so much, because HOH taking part in Sangiran Conservation Office role through engaging the local societies, communities, and sharing the knowledge in the framework of conservation Sangiran site. Besides that, Sangiran site as a world cultural heritage, we need the international attention to upgrade our human resource capability and competency, and also facilitating the community to build the economic independency, because they are actually the most important actor in conserving the sites and the heritage, of course. And maybe for the new experience, like the tagline of this meeting, the Sangiran New Experience, like in Mbak Sri Niluh in her exhibitions, I think we are agree when I say that HOH is the most, or maybe the only one program, international program, which is not only think about the research, but also seriously taking part in conserving the Sangiran site through engaging the people and collaborating with the stakeholder, empowering the people, and we appreciate and expect to continue this collaboration in the future to be more intensive and in a more good collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Marlia. Maybe last question for the BPS MP Sangiran. What about the future project? What is the perspective of the BPS MP Sangiran towards this collaboration? What can be done for the next project? Maybe Pak Mujib could give some insight about this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ami. If we talk about the collaboration between Human Origin Heritage and Sangiran Conservation Office, I think this is a great collaboration and many benefit from this collaboration, such as transfer of knowledge, sharing experience, like a new method, new approach, and various local community empowerment program. And we hope in the future, this collaboration can continue to be even better and bring a greater impact. Sangiran Conservation Office in the future has several program like revitalizing cultural value, facilitation of the use of cultural heritage remain, and researching the importance of Sangiran based on fossil made, we call balung buto, in the English is giant bone. I think is very interesting theme. So in the future, I think that program can collaborate with Human Origin Heritage. So with the collaboration can make local people become a more important actor in Sangiran. I think from me, that's enough.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Mujib. If I may conclude the testimony or insight from the BPSMP that the program, the HOH program, is basically still encompassed with the entire program of the Sangiran BPSMP office. So we can, in the future, still collaborate for the next program. So that's what I catch from the insight. Okay, thank you very much from the BPSMP Sangiran. And next, we will have a short insight from the Sragen Regency official. Here, together with us, we have Anjar Sri Sajekti. She also a former student, master student in quaternary prehistory, which she took her master in Paris with me. And she used to cook for the entire Indonesian students, so I know Mbak Anjar very well. She's a very nice person. So Mbak Anjar, if I may ask to you how to synchronize, how to put our program in a line that we can work together in the future. I mean, HOH and the government of Sragen. Can you give us insight about that?
Okay, thank you for these opportunities. Thank you, Mas Ami. Good afternoon for all participants, and good morning for all participants in Europe, especially for Professor Anne-Marie Semah and François Semah. I would like to say that the program of the human origin heritage is we are expected to can be synchronization about the program because we are from the local government Sragen Regency. We have 2 departments involved the conservation in Sangiran. There is the Office Youth of Sport and Tourism, and in there is a policy. It's about the development tourism village now, with the activity is empowering the village, and then the capability development of the human resource in Sangiran site as the tourism actor, and then for example is training the local guide, and then the training management homestay, collaboration between local government with the travel agent. And then because now I work in the cultural and education department, so we are focusing in the teenager, in the student. So our mission is created to sense of the belonging to the heritage from the early age, and then the increasing the involvement of the younger generation in the conservation effort, and then make a student more aware of the potential local culture, and then the implementation we will local potential insight in the curriculum, in the syllabus of the student, and then the school become to be a heritage communication medias. We have like programs. There is a museum in my heart or museum di hatiku. We go inside to the school, and we need the student from the school surrounding the site have a characteristic because they can explain about the value of the heritage. I think that's our programs. Thank you.
So that means in the future our collaboration can enter the student curriculum for the elementary student and for the so the program, the HOH program, the conservation program will enter the curriculum of the student in Sragen.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mbak Anjar. Next, we have here together with us the representation from Pok Darwis, beautiful Sangiran, Pak Subur, Pak Dwi, dan Ibu Reida. We continue with this discussion in Bahasa Indonesia, and I will share a short translation for everyone in France and in Europe in general. So, Pak Subur, selamat datang, Pak Dwi dan Pak Reda. Terima kasih sudah datang ke acara kami, dan kami ingin mendapatkan pandangan dari Pak Subur dan Pok Darwis secara general. Sebenarnya mungkin kita perlu perkenalan dulu, apa sebenarnya Pok Darwis? Siapa sebenarnya Pok Darwis? Dan apa yang dilakukan oleh Pok Darwis? So we will have a short introduction from Pak Subur. From Pak Subur, okay. So we will have a short introduction about who is Pok Darwis and what they do in order to collaborate to preserve and to conserve the natural heritage of Sangiran. So silakan Pak Subur untuk berikan sedikit pandangan terhadap siapa Pok Darwis dan seperti apa pengalaman dan apa yang didapat dari kegiatan HOH.
Terima kasih Mas Hami. Sebelumnya saya mengucapkan selamat sore dan terima kasih atas kerjasamanya dari pihak KSW, BPSMS, pemerintah daerah Kabupaten Sragen, dan Museum Prancis di Prancis. Pak Daris merupakan itu kelompok sadar wisata. Dulunya memang kita bentuk itu di samping itu untuk menggali masalah sangiran, itu tentang sangiran. Kebetulan waktu itu memang sosialisasi untuk adanya sangiran itu merupakan wilayah cagar budaya. Dulu memang ide itu dari kita kok dari semua bareng-bareng punya sampai klaster mana-mana 4 klaster itu menyesuaikan, ayo ngajak-ajak supaya ini loh sangiran merupakan jangan sampai rusak situs, terus kalau ada benda yang ditemukan diserahkan ke museum. Lambat tahun akhirnya berkembang, terus itu ikut penelitian dengan manfaatnya dengan adanya HUA kerjasama ini ikut penelitian, terus ada waktu itu terus kebetulan Museum Nano itu untuk diajak penelitian sama Profesor François Semah dan BPSMS dan Puslit waktu itu. Sampai sekarang manfaatnya banyak. Di samping itu Pak David juga baru-barusan ini diajak kerjasama sama HOH mengenai batik, melestarikan batik. Justru batik itu motifnya khusus motif sangiran. Jadi dulu memang disuruh kita itu gambar, masing-masing punya ide apa, gambar di situ disatukan, akhirnya dibikin sama mahasiswa UKSW sini sama Bu Natalita, akhirnya jadi batik tersebut. Pokoknya retribusinya banyak. Bahkan Pak Darwis ini tidak istilahnya merangkul semuanya, stakeholder. Itu tidak ada punya niat yang istilah yang tidak positif gitu. Dan nanti mungkin lainnya biar diterangkan sama teman-teman. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Subur. So if I may conclude what Pak Subur said, Pok Darwis Pok Darwis stands for Kelompok Sadar Wisata. Is the group of the local community who form an activities to promote the tourism in Sangiran. So Pak Subur is the leader of this group, the Pok Darwis group, and he has been involved into many research together with the French researcher, Indonesian researcher, and many other researchers who come to Sangiran. So he initiated this group of Pok Darwis together with people who lives around Sangiran. And his experience led him into further collaboration, further cooperation with the program, including the HOH program, which is recently he involved in the project of making the batik motif, the local batik motif from Sangiran side. And he also participated in many discussions with other stakeholders within the Sangiran locality, within the Sangiran vicinity, and he also one of the most known actors in Sangiran. So thank you Pak Subur for your explanation about Sangiran, about Pok Darwis. And next maybe maybe Pak Dwi. Maybe Pak Dwi can tell us about the recent project of Pok Darwis when one of the sites in Sangiran faced threat from the natural threat that one of the sites was flooded by the river and it damages one of the smallest museum in Sangiran, which we call Museum Nano, Maybe Mas Dwi, one of the initiator of the renovation of the museum, can tell us some story about how it was done, how Pok Darwis contribute or initiatively renovate the museum. So bagaimana Pak Dwi, pengalaman Pak Dwi dalam berinisiatif merenovasi museum yang rusak karena banjir di Museum Nano. Silakan Pak Dwi.
Oke, sebelumnya saya ucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada instansi semuanya yang bersangkutan.
Bisa bicara sedikit lebih keras?
Sebelum mengenai membahas tentang renovasi Museum Nano, saya akan menambahkan sedikit tentang apa itu Pok Darwis. Jadi itu adalah sebenarnya tujuannya Pok Darwis dalam akte pengesahannya menjadi rekan kerja dengan Dinas Pariwisata, kedua menggali potensi apa yang untuk dikembangkan di dalam situs Sangiran, khususnya di dalam bidang pariwisata. Ketiga, dia menyelamatkan juga menguri-nguri, menjaga dan melestarikan. Jadi salah satu yang terlaksana yaitu renovasi Museum Nano. Nah, itu semua berkat dukungan dari semua pemerintah ya, dari pemerintah, dari BPMPS juga, dari Fakultas UKSW juga. Itu tanpanya adanya instansi dan beliau semua tadi, pelaksanaan Museum Nano renovasi itu nggak mungkin terlaksana. Itu saya ucapkan banyak terima kasih karena telah mempercayakan Pok Darwis sebagai pelaksananya untuk renovasi Museum Nano. Jadi sebelum ada renovasi ada suatu kecelakaan di Museum Nano, terjadi banjir di Sungai Pucung yang membawa kayu yang mengenai tiang Museum Nano itu mengakibatkan ya agak roboh, termasuknya juga itu sudah rusak parah. Jadi kendala kami itu banyak sekali dalam renovasi itu. Satu adalah untuk akses jalannya itu lewat sungai. Jadi membawa materialnya itu cukup sangat susah. Kedua di waktu pas hujan. Jadi pernah saat udah pengecoran di tiang setengah, itu besoknya hilang kena arus. Jadi tinggal besinya aja. Jadi situ Museum Nano itu sangat penting bagi kami karena di sana untuk adalah tempat penelitian arkeologi nasional, tempat untuk menyajikan berupa replika ya hasil-hasil evakuasi di sana. Itu jadi harapan kami kepada semua instansi mohon ditambah dukungannya, bimbingannya dan tindak lanjutnya kepada Pok Darwis supaya lebih maju untuk semuanya bagi masyarakat di situs Sangiran dalam khususnya dalam SDM-nya di waktu yang untuk akan datang. Itu dari saya, terima kasih.
Thank you very much. So if I may conclude, one of the activities of Pok Darwis is to conserve the site. So Pok Darwis was not only there to promote the tourism, but as well as to conserve, to protect the site. So one initiative to the Nano Museum is one of the activities that they already succeeded to implement. So they have successfully restored the condition of a museum in one of the sites. We call it the Pucung site. And thank you very much. And he also wished that in the future this connection can be strengthened between researcher and the local community, because the local community have been participate in many activities, research activities, scientific activities, including the excavation, the research project in Pucung site. So thank you very much, Mas Dwi. And maybe one more question is, we are going to talk about the knowledge transfer between the scientific communities and to the local communities. Maybe Mbak Raida can give us a brief insight about how Pok Darwis can benefit from the HOH program in terms of scientific knowledge to the local. So, Mbak Raida, bagaimana HOH, kegiatan HOH itu bisa bermanfaat kepada Pok Darwis dalam hal ilmu pengetahuan? Mungkin Ibu Raida bisa sedikit bercerita.
Terima kasih waktunya yang diberikan kepada saya. Untuk acara HOA di Pok Darwis, kami sangat terbantu karena kami itu bisa membantu dalam hal ke lapangan. Fokusnya ke lapangan, memandu ke lapangan, ke tempat penemuan dan juga formasi tanah. Di situ kami juga mendapatkan pengetahuan dan juga pengalaman tentunya. Di mana kita berjalan langsung ke formasi tanah dan juga ke lapangan arkeologi tempat peninggalan masa lampau. Kedepannya acara Pok Darwis ini dan juga HOH ini semoga makin lancar dan juga sukses dan juga masih berjalan terus. Karena ini sangat bermanfaat juga bagi kami. Kami ini bisa mendapatkan ilmu pengetahuan juga dari mahasiswa, guru dosen, maupun dari para peneliti. Dari segi sains maupun bahasa ilmiah, dari misalnya sebuah batuan ataupun formasi tanah. Nah, itulah. Kami juga sangat bersyukur dengan adanya kegiatan ini, keterlibatan masyarakat itu juga dilibatkan. Jadi saya sangat berterima kasih. Cukup sekian saja penjelasan dari saya.
Thank you very much, Mbak Raida. So again, if I may conclude briefly about what Raida said, that the Pok Darwis had a lot of experience of working together with the scientific communities to work in the archaeological excavation, to work in the excursion of the site, to tell the story about the stratigraphy of the soil, to tell the story about the archaeological remains from the archaeological site. And the Pok Darwis was very grateful for the opportunity to work together with the scientific and also the student from around the world, from the HOH program. So the Pok Darwis is very happy to work with the HOH program because it helps the local community to have a more understanding about the archaeological site from the scientific standpoint. So thank you very much for all of the speaker, and maybe we still have maybe one very small question, if there is a question from the audience here, or maybe from the Zoom meeting, maybe very short question from everyone who are at the stage. Oh, I guess not. So we can move on to the next segment of the program. Maybe we can just stay here so we can talk, and so I won't be lonely for the next few minutes of this event. So next we have the research project presentation. This is the PhD project of two students who are currently is the PhD candidate in the Museum National Histoire Naturelle, and they are specifically working in the Sangiran site. The first is Sih Nathalie Sukmi, who is a PhD project entitled Indonesian Prehistoric Heritage Facing Sustainable Development Challenges, Building a Model for Community Involvement. And the second is Korontong Beats, who is also from MNHN, which his study entitled Preventive Archaeology, Excavation and Survey Related to Island Southeast Asia Prehistoric Heritage Toward a Participatory Approach of Indonesian Site. So maybe we call Si Natalia Sukmi. Your time is yours.
Thank you so much, Mas Ami. Can I share my screen?
Excuse me?
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share the PPT.
Thank you. Okay, can you see now?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the second session of today. In this opportunity, I would like to share my idea related to my PhD thesis entitled Indonesian Prehistoric Heritage, Facing a Sustainable Development Challenge, Building a Model for Communities Involvement. I'm Natalia, I supervised by François Sema and Ibu Titi, and this is my third year here. So in my presentation, I will start with introduction. I continue with my research objective, methodology, research and discussion, and then conclusion. Now let's begin. I have conducted my research in Sangiran. I believe that some of you already knew this site, but if you have not been there yet, Sangiran Early Mine Site is located in Central Java, Indonesia. This is part of the island with the high density of population in Indonesia, including the sites. Start from Eugene Dubois, and since 1934, von Koenigswald came to this area. There are so many discoveries recorded, and in those inventions, the researchers helped by local communities. Nowadays, there are 5 clusters in Sangiran in 2 regencies. Scientifically, Sangiran is well-known site in the knowledge development of human origins discoveries in the world. Paleoanthropologists, geologists, paleontologists, and prehistorians explore the authenticity of Javanese human evolution record for more than 1 century. Hence, the sites constitute one key of human evolution inventions because it's a rare ancient hominin site that has characteristics from geological chronology aspect and the archaeological remains. In the science development, the local community demonstrates their contribution through their traditional knowledge based on their experiences to recognize their landfill. The complexity of a challenge toward protection and conservation of the heritage also encourage the collaboration with the social sciences researchers to elaborate and find the best solution for sustainability of science. For the society perspective, Sangiran with all contains both intangible and tangible also influence the livelihood of local inhabitants. Since Indonesian government built 5 clusters and arranged conservation and development plans, the economic wheels of local inhabitants changes from agriculture to tourism industries in several parts, particularly the local people who lives nearby museum. The tourist activities have provided the opportunity to increase the well-being of local people through tourist activities, such as tourist guide, souvenir selling, and etc. Therefore, the existence of museum improves the revenues of local and regional government. They arrange the management structure and plans of the World Heritage to implement ideas of social-economic development. Even though based on the Human Development Index report, the community's welfare has no significant increase yet. Another important perspective of Sangiran sites is its connection with the identity that intends to set up belief, ideas, and practices based on cultural settings. This represents the ownership and sense of belonging of local and national community toward tangible and intangible values of the heritage. Their interpretation and identifying of themselves with their heritage will impact their belief system, motivation, and action to protect or even dismiss the heritage attributes or properties. On the other side, in my first year study, I found that the global discourse between universities, countries, collaboration has increased. As you can see in my screen, they are interconnected each other. When I use another, I try to use another keyword to understand more about cultural resource management. And I found several Asian countries also increase their contribution. Then, how's about the community? Where is their position and what is their role in those discourses? So, from those explanations, Indonesian prehistoric heritage, particularly Sangiran sites, have a prominent position in science, society, and identity, in terms of both protection and conservation of tangible and intangible prehistoric heritage and sustainable livelihood of the community. In the framework of development, the prehistoric heritage management faces several challenges and the integration of multi-stakeholders to align their perception and interest in governance. Moreover, since 1972, the local community has been taken into account as the important actor in research and development program. Therefore, this study aims to yield contribution for a sustainable conservation and development plans of prehistoric heritage, particularly foster the local community's involvement. Now I will continue talk about my methodology. Okay, in order to elaborate my research, I choose interpretives as my research paradigm that explain the worldview, reflection, and interpretation of social phenomenon to decide how scrutinize and concrete my research action. This aims to construct local communities' idea of prehistoric heritage in Sangiran. Epistemologically, my construction stands for the belief that every human being has capacity in knowledge development, in which parallel with French philosopher Michel Foucault state that power is everywhere. This basis was used to place the equality in understanding all actors that interlink in my research, include educational, economic, gender, etc. All actors have agencies to take a role in the conservation and development process. I conducted a grounded ethnography to reveal community involvement through several programs of collaboration between institutions in Indonesia and France with different approaches of participatory communication, like the field of work of excavation, human origins heritage, nano-museum restoration, batik Sangiran, and the illumination Sangiran program. I conducted several methods to collect data, like observation in Sangiran, investigated historical data from compassdata.id, and literature studies, interview with totally 38 informants, and also 8 focus group discussion. and also participated and conducted participatory action research. Ethically, I conducted my participatory action research during pandemic COVID-19. This condition reduced my latitude, of course, to interact with my respondent. However, I applied a health protocol during my field study. So in my research, this is my methodology, and for my research and discussion, in terms of understanding how to involve the local community, I map every program that I use to elaborate my research scope. And you can see that every program on it has specific approach, method, participants, and medium. For instance, human origins heritage, you already comprehended what kind of this program now. Another example is Batik Sangiran. In this program, I work with my interdisciplinary colleagues to offer the equal space for local community to recollect their collective memories about Sangiran. Then batik artisan then draw their memories and mix it with the scientific knowledge. And after so many rejection because of their lack confidence, their subordinate feeling, eventually we could create 10 beautiful batik Sangiran. Their lack of confidence also my research to work with batik designer and bring their creation to wider public. And afterward, they were crying, I remember, because they didn't believe that they could do that. So from my research, I found several challenges of community involvement in the framework of science, society, and identity. In science perspective, the challenge comes up from the process of understanding scientific values, the fact that it needs interest and also time. On the other hand, the heritage management plan has no see the result in limited time by report. The second challenge is in the relationship between community and researchers. I have to say that every actor needs to realize that everybody has knowledge. From the society aspect, the community involvement has challenges in terms of mutual understanding of its perception of heritage property. Every actor in heritage management has their own perception and interest. Therefore, we need communication in the equal space to compromise and meet every actor's needs. In the identity aspect, community involvement has challenges in the sense of belonging toward heritage property. In order to find their belonging toward prehistoric heritage, Sangiran communities need to sit all together and reconstruct their collective memories about their past and what they want as a community with their intangible and tangible world. And it needs a communication process. So to conclude my presentation, I will say that in the framework of sustainability and answer the challenges, we need to equal communication processes as a power of negotiation, particularly for a local community. The second, that we need to create equal space to provide two-way communication between actors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, C. Natalia. Next, the student also from MNHN, Korontong Biets, will present a short introduction to his study. Please, Korontong.
Yes, I will also share my screen, if I may.
Yes, please.
Does it work?
Can see the slide.
I'm sorry? You can see?
Yes, we can see the slide.
Okay, thank you. Hello again. I'm Corentin Bitz. I'm a PhD candidate at the MNHN and EVA International too. I'm going to present you the framework of my PhD research in Sangria. This research mostly concerns the development and assessment of collaborative and participatory methods towards the of the prehistoric heritage. It's a quite complex and intricate topic, so I will try to give a simple and rapid overview on it, as we will have several opportunities to further discuss all these topics with the students who will participate in the 2022 HOH program.
Sorry, Korontong, to interrupt you. We cannot hear clearly your voice. Maybe you can speak a little bit louder. Thank you.
Okay. You tell me. The Sangharan site, as you might have already discovered from your online lectures, addressing a couple students, especially here, is situated on the Sunda Shelf. The Sunda Shelf was an emerged land during the glacial periods, really, while the sea level was tens of meters under the current level. This situation made it possible for the ancient hominids to reach what are now islands by dry feet. Since the beginning of the archaeological researches on the Java island, many sites have been discovered linked to this possibility to cross by foot. The Sangharan site, which is with its very specific geology, makes it very likely to find fossils and artifacts in the everyday life of the local community. It's 56 square kilometers with about nearly 1,000 inhabitants per square kilometer. The UNESCO World Heritage Site with the highest density of population in the world. Sanghiran is also the place where about half the known Homo erectus fossils have been discovered. The scientific questions that this PhD is taking relate to the interaction between several communities and several scientific objects of research. Communities are, as we have seen already, the scientific community and the local community, not to mention all the stakeholders that present in Sangharan. My scientific questions are based on those, how to mobilize people from the local communities to participate in archaeological research. What can be taught to the non-professional in order to guarantee high scientific standards? What benefits can be expected from the involvement of locals in terms of heritage conservation? How to build community-based preventive archaeology in Sangharan and other sites? To answer those questions, I rely strongly on the very systematic recording methods of the French preventive archaeology as used in EVA, defining it with my PhD with the MNHN. The preventive methods involve only professionals and are based on rescuing archaeological heritage as efficiently as possible, more than going to the field to answer a specific scientific question. It's more based on time than the scientific question in the beginning. But still, using the very systematic methods allows for a good gathering of data. In France, the major part of archaeology, in terms of fields and people involved per year, is from preventive archaeology. The emanation part of this PhD allows for the gathering of data directly in Sangharan during two major moments of the year. Usually, between November and December, a field school for Indonesian students is held in Sangharan, making it possible to excavate and implement activities in collaboration with members of the local community. This collaboration is based on excavating activities, several workshops, seminars, and a rehearsal session that Natalia already talked about, from the members of the local communities to a wide audience in Sangharan. In May and June, the HOH program, rather participatory, aims at uncovering several research questions with groups of international students and locals, as we have already talked about. The The participatory approach is encompassing for the HOH group the setting up of a complete scientific protocol about archaeological, natural, or social science in Sangiran. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, methods initially developed during the HOH and the excavation in Sangiran were implemented in France, giving strong insights on participation from local communities in research. As I mentioned earlier, this work is only possible because of these many stakeholders that are working on the Sangiran site now. As you can see, I think students can see that they will have experience this complexity soon. So, through participatory activities such as interviews, field surveys, visits, etc., students and locals can experience together what makes a scientific research in terms of methods and protocols. Confronted to the field in a real-life context, gathering their very different experiences, they can overcome difficult scientific questions. The HOH experiment builds, year after year, a more solid understanding of how to answer questions, how to do research, how to collaborate with very different people on the field, especially from the local perspective. During the excavation in Sangiran, the Indonesian students cooperate with the participants from the local communities to excavate at the site. This cooperation is developed in several activities, be it on the field or implementing the data from the field on a database. These activities tend to evolve year after year, building on the experience of the local participants, which improves every year. This experience is used in turn by the locals to train the students, as we can see on the right, during a geological section study in 2019. So there are a lot of benefits in terms of heritage conservation from what we have observed on the field for now. The long-term involvement of the local communities in Sangiran rapidly gave interesting results. The first persons who participated, even in the early stage of the current excavation, are, for the majority, still participating in the research now. They learned how to react and to manipulate discoveries within the framework of an excavation, being able to use this knowledge while the research team is not on the field. One example of that is the year 2020, while little after the 2019 campaign was finished, as already mentioned by Bu Natalia and by the Mas Padui from the Bogdaruis. Heavy rains hit the locality of the excavation in Puchun, damaging the site and the nearby small museum. Some of the locals who participated in the excavation and in the HOH program gathered photos to repair the small museums. In the cleaning of the site where important discoveries could actually accidentally be made. All this, despite the fact that the pandemic was striking everywhere in the world, making it very difficult for research teams to reach the field at this time. These insights show how important it can be to build a multipolar approach to collaboration and participation when it comes to archaeological heritage conservation. The current pandemic is considered by many as part of the long-term process of the ecological crisis we are entering in, and it made it impossible for us to go to the field for more than 2 years. In this case, and at the moment, as shown by the data from preventive archaeology, when heritage is at permanent risk due to development issues, erosion due to violent climatic events, or other problems, the involvement of the locals seems inevitable. In Sangiran, it may allow, in the uncertainties of the future, for a part of a more than 1 million years old archaeological heritage to pass to the next generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Korontong Pete. So we are reaching the end of the program, of our scheduled program. So now I have to give a short conclusion to our event today. about the HOH program and the collaboration with the Christian Satyawacana University and also other stakeholders involved in the activities. So as mentioned by Pa Yosef, that our ability to pass information from generation to generation, it is the main essence of our species. This is our specialty, to pass information from generation to generation. And essentially, that's the definition of heritage. So we're passing information from one to another generation. Therefore, the sustainability of this process have to be kept. And this is the program, the very aim of the HOH program is to maintain the sustainability of research and to involve all the stakeholders to participate in this process. So it is not an easy task, as Pa Francois mentioned, that the researcher cannot improvise. So, for example, the archaeological research cannot be compromised. So we have to integrate with other social science in order to gain more benefit, gain more information from the archaeological side in terms of conservation and the preservation of the site. This collaboration will continually establish between UKSW and MNHN and all the stakeholders in Sangiran, and we try to maintain the program, the quality of the program, and we will involve the interdisciplinary studies to deal with many issues of conservation in Sangiran site and in archaeological site in general. So we also hear that we have the target for the future project is to strengthen effort to protect, to safeguard the cultural and natural heritage, which also implies in the SDGs target. And we hope in the future we will have more and more publication produced from this such unique collaboration. And from HOH we learned that such a unique collaboration between social and natural science is possible. And also such a unique integration between stakeholders, between the researchers and the local community is also possible. We learned that scientists is not only responsible to finish their thesis or to finish their research, but as well as to maintain the sustainability of their research so that the future generation can benefit from the research that they make. So we also learned that the Pok Darwis is not only responsible to promote the tourism in the locality, but as well as to conserve, to protect, and to safeguard the site so they can always have initiative to fix or to repair whatever it is broken along the way. And BPSMP said also that our program is in line together, so we can collaborate together because the program of HOH is basically also the program of the BPSMP Sangiran. And we also learned that from the local government of Seragen Regency, from Ibu Anjar, that the HOH program has a potentiality to be integrated in the student curriculum of the elementary and the higher education of Seragen. So this is something that we can expect in the future. And we hope that these collaborations will continue to happen and will continue to give benefit to all the stakeholders that involved in the collaboration. On behalf of the HOH committee in UKSW, I would like to say thank you very much for your very kind attention. And I will give back the microphone to the MC. Thank you very much. Oh yes, one more thing. I will use this privilege as a host to say happy birthday to Xavier Gallet. Xavier Gallet, are you still here in France? Xavier?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so happy birthday, Xavier.
Terima kasih banyak.
So thank you. And happy birthday to Mas Lilik also.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mirza, for the fascinating discussion with all the speakers. Thank you so much. So we have come to an end. We hope you enjoy every segment that we have today. After this, we invite all of you to visit the Human Origins Heritage exhibitions located on the Student Center that is next to the main hall. Also, we are very grateful for the support and assistance provided by Center of Sustainable Development Studies, the France National Museum of Natural History, Institut Français d'Indonésie, participants, BPMS MPS, Sangiran Conservation Office, Sragen Regency Government, and Pok Darwis Wonderful Sangiran. As we close this event, let's enjoy one last dance performance. This dance is a form of Baha'i Dance creations. Baha'i Dance is a traditional dance in Dayak community, Central Borneo. Usually, this dance is held as entertainment or as a form of welcome for great elegance and gentleness are presented through Bahalai, which means shawl. The beauty of girls in the Central Borneo is interpreted as Bawi Bahalab. This dance is composed with the basic motions motif of Tasai, Lemu, Singkai, and Kajan. The children of Tambun Buai dance Manasai with joy as a form of preservation, love, pride, and respect for the ancestor cultural heritage and traditions. Tatu Hyang Ikei. I am Petra Alexandru, on behalf of organizing committee, extending our appreciation to each and every one of you for attending this event, whether it is on-site or who join it through website or Zoom meeting. I apologize if there are mistakes and things that are unpleasant during this event. So please enjoy the Bahalai Bawi Bahalap dance. I think there is a little bit error with the music. So I will remind you, okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you very much for your attendance today. And I will remind you once again to visit our poster exhibitions, Human Origins Heritage poster exhibitions that located on Student Center. And these poster exhibitions will be held until tomorrow, Wednesday. So bring your friends or to come and visit the poster exhibitions. Thank you very much.